We can afford air conditioning. We have enough income to pay for higher food prices. There are problems in Canada around that right now, but that's not everybody. We can afford to relocate if where we're living becomes inhospitable. And then there's things like controlling rights to water. Places like Dubai, Las Vegas, they're built in deserts. Deserts have no water. And yet there are these big fountains and pools and other stuff. With money, you can design and engineer solutions to protect yourself and pad yourself from things. However, it causes much larger impacts doing that. The richest 10% in the world are responsible for about half of all global greenhouse gas emissions, whereas the poorest 50% are responsible for about 10%. That's not fair. That's not just. However, the poorest people in the world, they can't do much about it when a climate disaster hits them. There's vulnerability issues. So this is a WHO, World Health Organization infographic that I really, really like. It talks about vulnerability issues, exposure pathways, health system capacity and resilience, and then it breaks down different ways that climate change can actually affect health. Before COVID, our healthcare workforce was compromised. COVID, it really messed it up. I was working in an emergency room in the summer of 2022, and there was a 50% vacancy rating for the nursing staff there. Availability of essential medical products and technologies. This was a big thing during COVID where people didn't have access to PPE or personal protective equipment because we put a lot of these things offshore. We don't make a lot of this stuff. Two ways I'm going to answer that. You should have your medications. You should have your medications for a few weeks at least. The people that came down from Yellowknife, they were down, they needed a few weeks of medications before they could find access to new ones. That being said, there's a real need nowadays where we live in isolation from each other a lot. You really need social connection. Knowing your neighbors, knowing the people around you, where you can turn for help, and yeah, there's batteries as well. But being able to work together as a smaller community and a smaller area is very important. It's a weird way of answering it, and it's not the answer you want. I know you don't like this answer because you want like a list of things, and you can get a list of things. That's fine. But it's that social connection is so important. Knowing, my neighbor's a nurse, my neighbor's a doctor, or this neighbor there knows how they can fix anything. So when this goes down, I can fix it. Oh, this neighbor here has a really good garden and knows how to, we can get some food together and grow some food together. These kind of things where we're working together and working as a community versus working as isolation individuals. There's a lot that needs to happen in there so that you can prepare and work together so somebody can have your back. Because ultimately, yes, you can go live as a hermit, in a tent up in the north, if the north hasn't burned down. But usually, we need to work with each other. And having those social connections and knowing your neighbor and knowing how to work with them is really important.